U.S. playoff football. Live from Commonwealth Stadium, the CFL on CTV presents the West Division Final, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers and the Edmonton Eskimos. Good afternoon, everybody. Al McCann greeting you from Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton. We have a clear, sunshiny sky, but believe me, it is cold. Minus 18 Celsius, the temperature right now, and it will probably go lower. Fortunately, the wind is very light, so it is bearable, at least for the time being. But what a game we have shaping up. The Eskimos and the Blue Bombers. Both teams have had roller coaster type seasons. The Eskimos, for instance, could not do a thing right in the first half. They won only 3 while losing 5. Winnipeg, meanwhile, 8 straight in the first half. Then, of course, the Bombers had a 4-4 second half, and it was the Eskimos who came booming on to win 8 in a row after Winnipeg had won 7 in the first half. It all broke down to a tie at 11-5, and the Eskimos got the bye on a points for and against basis. A lot of nostalgia also in the air, inasmuch as this will be the final game in the West for both coaches, Yock and Campbell, and for one of them, the final game in Canada. We'll be back with Dale Isaac and Frank Rigney and more pre-game talk right after these messages.
O'Keefe, your box seat to CFL 82. We're bringing you the dramatic finish to the CFL season, the decisive games right through the playoffs, both East and West, culminating in the Grey Cup Classic, plus special features, yesterday in the CFL, and Game Stars. Get the best of wide-open football CFL style. Catch all the action from your home box seat. Carling O'Keefe Sports, bringing the sports world home to you.
Winner of 5 Academy Awards, The Sound of Music, starring Julie Andrews, comes your way December 6th.
Hello again, everyone, and welcome to very chilly Edmonton, Alberta. We had a nice warm booth here a few minutes ago until they opened the windows, and now we know what it's like outside, Frank. It's going to be a cold afternoon.
It's going to be a very difficult day for the players. There isn't any question. The brakes will play a very key role in this football game because that ball is going to be tough to hold on to. It's just like an ice skating rink down there. Everybody expected an Eskimo Blue Bomber Western Final. A lot of people thought it was going to be in Winnipeg, and up to the halfway point of the season, it looked like they were going to be right. But here we are back in Edmonton, and the two coaches really have dominated the headlines because, as Al mentioned, they're both heading south after this season is over. And we want to just take a look at what they've accomplished in their career here in the CFL. Well, first of all, take a look at Ray Yock. As we all know, he's only been the winning coach of a Grey Cup championship team one time, but he's had an excellent record, of course, starting out right here in Edmonton, and, of course, continuing on with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And he won the Coach of the Year award on 2 occasions, 1970 and 1980. And just a few moments ago, Al McCann talked with Ray Yock.
You know, it seems almost fitting, Coach. 17 years you've been in this league, I think it is now. You played in a lot of cold ones. It's kind of fitting that your last game in the West as a coach should be a cold one.
Maybe fitting, but it's not very comfortable.
Oh, actually, though, without a wind, it's not that bad.
No, it's not really. Actually, it's pretty nice. I think the biggest problem is going to be when the sun gets in behind the stands and starts dropping. It's going to get a little chilly. I'm glad we're on the sun side over there. We're going to have the sun for probably a little bit longer, but as long as the wind does not come up, it should be all right.
Any time, Ray, for a little nostalgic feeling in as much as it is the wind-up one after a lot of ups and downs, lots of ups.
Well, yeah, I have no complaints. My family and I have been very happy in Canada. We love the country, love the people. It's been very, very good to us. You think about it, it can choke you up a little bit, but it's part of life. You go on and you do what you have to do.
Is your team ready, Ray? It's a big game.
I think so. I think our guys will play hard. They always have, Al. I've never had any problem with our players as far as effort on the field is concerned and dedication, what they're trying to do. We got a super bunch of guys. We didn't always win all the time, and you're not going to win all the time, but I'm as proud of this football team as any team I've ever coached in Canada, and probably more so.
Your trigger man is Dieter Brock. He's had all sorts of troubles, injury problems this year. Is he healthy for today?
Well, he had a couple injuries at the end of the year, but he's been doing pretty good. He's fine. He's had no problem as of recently, and I think he's fine.
Ray, good luck today.
Thanks, Al.
And yesterday I talked with Ray Yock, and I suggested to him that 1982 may have been one of the best years for him as a coach because of the injuries that the Bombers have had to overcome. And he said maybe 1972 was only another year that he had a better year as a coach.
You know, it really was amazing. He had 8 starters that were injured in the first half of the season. And, of course, you looked at the record that they had opening the year. It's been a very strange season for them. The last half of the year has not been as successful as they would have liked. But Huey Campbell, on the other hand, started off with a problem for the first time in his career. 3-5 at the halfway mark, and then they won 8 straight.
And, of course, Hugh was the coach of the year in 1979, and you take a look at his fantastic record in postseason action and the things that he's accomplished. And, of course, they would like to win it again here today and go back to Toronto for another Grey Cup appearance. But let's hear what he has to say with Al McCann.
Well, Coach, in your years in Canada as a player and as a coach, you've been involved in a lot of cold weather games. Any worries about the weather conditions today affecting your team?
Well, you have to be aware of the weather. You can't just go on like it's not happening, but you can't do anything about it except be cognizant of, say, where the ice spots are and that type of thing. This is part of Canadian football. You know, it's been that way for a long time, and it'll be that way for a long time into the future, because until everybody has covered stadiums, this is just part of playoffs.
I know you'd naturally be uptight, as we say in the sport, going into a Western Championship game, despite the fact you've been in many of them. Any other little twang of nostalgia, in as much as this will be your last game as a coach in Edmonton?
Not really, Al. That hasn't hit me too hard yet, although I've been asked that question enough that I am aware of it. But there's so much to worry about with the Bombers having all those weapons, both offensively and defensively and special teams. They're such a complete ball club that our coaching staff has really been preoccupied with the planning stages of this game. I hope that we play a great football game so that it'll be a real close game.
Hugh, you've had 2 weeks to prepare for the game, 1 week to prepare for the team, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Are you pleased with the way things have shaken down prior to the game?
Well, let's say I'm not disappointed. Coaches are always nervous over everything if they've done enough repetitions in any area of the game, but there's no area that I'm right now drastically concerned about as far as our preparation. But our big concern is just that the Bombers are darn good and present so many problems to us that you're never out of the woods with them. They can score so rapidly in such a short period of time that there's no safe margin with them. You just have to keep playing all the time, whether you're behind or ahead. The team that plays the full football game is the one that's going to win.
Hugh, it's been an amazing 6 years, your tenure here in Edmonton. Good luck this afternoon.
Thank you very much.
Hugh Campbell, head coach of the Edmonton Eskimos. And, of course, we do have 2 very high-powered offenses out here this afternoon, but the weather and field conditions may dictate a low-scoring ball game, Frank, and therefore the defenses are going to have to be exceptionally sharp.
Well, I think there's a couple of people who we should take a look at, because I think they're going to be very key in this football game. Number 53, the left defensive end of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, Pete Caton. He's in his 2nd year from Eastern Illinois, and I think he's as good a pass rusher as there is for a down lineman in the Canadian Football League.
Caton had 13.5 sacks on the year, and some people may have criticized that performance because compared to James Parker, the Eskimos not that many. But you must remember, too, the Bomber defense dictates that the defensive ends peel out of there and cover those backs a lot more so than other people do.
And it's a very different style of defense. Pete Caton is a down lineman. He is lining up in the same position all of the time. On the other hand, James Quick Parker, and Quick is an excellent nickname because he's certainly that. They hide him everywhere defensively. They put him on both sides of the field, and he just does a fantastic job. He is the #1 pass rusher in Canada, no question.
There are a couple of other people involved in this football game this afternoon. I think it's interesting to have a visit with them. Dave Cutler and John Helton have been around for 14 years, and they've gone through a lot of this playoff football business, and Al is going to chat with them right now.
14-year veteran John Helton. John, you've played in a lot of cold weather over the years. We were just reminiscing about 1970, the famous Larry Robinson field goal year. That was a tough day.
That was a very tough day. In fact, all these years later, I'm still suffering from the frostbite. On a day like this, your hands get cold very quickly. And it was a great year, though, because it was the first time I ever had an opportunity to go to a Grey Cup, and I remember it very fondly, especially for Larry.
John, I want to ask you about these recurring rumors that you might say farewell to football after this year. Any truth?
Well, again, as I tried to explain myself very briefly, I didn't want to go all year long thinking that this would be my last year, because I always want to have as good a year as possible without any ghosts or shadows hanging over me. Most assuredly, I'll have to wait till the new year comes, because, again, I can't say right now, and maybe the new coach coming in might have different thoughts about who he might want to go with. So I'd just like to let that lie until the time comes to make a definite statement on it. And when I say I'm retired, I'm definitely going to be retired, and it's not going to be any any other thing than what I say that, when I retire.
Now let's talk about this team. You've had ups and downs this year. A lot of ups in the top of the season, some downs in the middle of the season and the end. Then you came back strong again last week. You ready for this one?
We sure are. I don't think our team has ever been more mentally hyped and ready for a game. We realized that we didn't quite do ourselves justice in the latter part of the year, but we always had confidence and faith in our abilities that we could do well. But again, as I say, today will be just a great game for everybody, and we look very forward to playing it.
John, for the tremendous 14 years, good luck today. Thank you very much. Well, the man who has completely rewritten the record book when it comes to kicking the football is Dave Cutler of the Eskimos, and the only record probably that he hasn't passed will be passed next year, and that's the all-time points of George Blanda. But today, of course, that's the furthest thing from his mind. Dave, another of those Western shootouts that you're so familiar with now in your 14 years. This last decade, you've just seen Western final after Western final. Is this one any different?
I think it is, Al. We've never have we come back so far as we have this year, and I think this is a very, very special one from that standpoint. That we want this one. I think more than we've ever wanted any Western final in the past. We wanted them all, but this one's just something really special, especially considering Huey's going, and like he's more than a coach to us. He's actually one of us, and that's one of our guys that means a lot to us is leaving, and I think all of these things add up to a real emotional game for us.
It's really the icing on the cake, wouldn't it be? You had that great comeback in the Grey Cup last year, and then the great comeback in the second half of the season this year, but I guess people wouldn't remember that as well if you happen to lose.
I think you're right. It's something that we'll always remember, and I think that we just can't afford to sour that taste because it was something we really want to savor.
Does the week off have any bearing on the game at all, the fact that you've had 2 weeks between games?
That's a very hard thing to say, Al, but I think that our ball club is hopefully experienced enough that all it really does is just help you cure your little aches and pains that might be nagging you if it had been a game right after the week.
One thing, David, you've played in this kind of weather lots of times. It's going to affect you at all?
Well, we hope not, and you never want to tempt the fates. It's sure we practice in it and all that sort of thing, but we still get very cold.
Dave, good luck today.
Thank you very much, Al.
Dave Cutler with 133 points in playoffs alone, not counting Grey Cup. And, of course, his regular season stats now total 1,973 points. Early next year, probably in the month of July, he should have something like 30 more points in regular season play to become the all-time scoring leader in professional football. What a remarkable career he's had. He's never scored a touchdown, though.
I think it's really nice to be able to talk to two people like that who have been around this league so long, have contributed so much. And David, of course, will be remembered forever, but I don't think David will ever retire. He may be kicking his ball when he's 55 years old.
You may be right, and as you saw just a moment ago, the Eskimos will be kicking off to get this Western final underway, and the Bombers will be receiving bright sunshine here in Edmonton, but it's really not helping that much. It is a chilly day with the temperature at game time minus 18 degrees Celsius. And, of course, that is exactly 0 on the old scale, so it's cool out here, and the field is very hard, Frank. That could be a factor.
No question about it. I think that the footing is going to be a very difficult thing. As we mentioned before, the receivers will have the advantage. They know where they're going on the field with their patterns. They definitely will be able to have an advantage over the defensive backs.
It's Ray Yock against Hugh Campbell for the last time in Canadian Football League action. And both of them will be heading south after this season is over. And as you look at Hugh Campbell trying to keep this incredible record going of winning 5 straight Western Division finals and going on to the Grey Cup, which, of course, they've already won 4 in a row. They want to make it 5 in a row. And I think we're in for a heck of a football game here this afternoon, despite the weather conditions being cold and all that. And a crowd of 50,000 plus on hand rises because now it's time for our national anthem.
Our home and native land, true patriot love, in all thy sons command. With glowing heart we thee right, the true north strong and free. From far and wide
Eskimos are all set, and we'll be back with the opening kickoff in just a moment.
This island is solid rock. No one's ever busted out. No one's ever made it.
Since I've been warden, a few people have tried to escape. Most of them have been recaptured. Those that haven't have been killed.
I may have found a way out of here.
No one has ever escaped from Alcatraz.
I'm in.
Me too. And no one ever will.
Clint Eastwood stars in the true story Escape from Alcatraz, a CTV premiere tonight.
CTV's wide world of sports. Action at its best. Saturday afternoons on CTV.
The man in charge here this afternoon, Bud Ulrich, is the head referee. He'll be assisted by Bill Wright, Art McAvoy, Dave Ewell, Larry Rohan, and Gord Johnson. Dave Cutler kicks it off. There's 82 Western final underway. James Murphy from the goal line on the return. He's got a hole. James Murphy out across the 40-yard line to about the 41. An excellent return of 41 yards by number 21, James Murphy. And the Winnipeg Blue Bombers will take over in good field position. First down as Dieter Brock leads the offense on the field. You look at the return once more.
What a great late season addition Murphy has been to this Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Number 21 brings the ball all the way out to the 41-yard line, and field position is definitely going to be very important today with the field conditions just like an ice skating rink.
James Murphy last week in the semifinal against Calgary caught 4 for 51 yards and 1 touchdown. Puts off wide to the right, the handoff up the middle to William Miller. He has a gain of about 1 yard. James Parker, number 40, in on the tackle. The defensive player of the year in the West. And the Shenley nominee in that category. Second down and 9 facing the Bombers. The Winnipeg offensive lineup, fine core of receivers. Of course, Murphy and Johnson replacing Goodlow and Holmes. And a huge offensive line centered by John Bonk, 10-year veteran. Second and 9 facing Winnipeg from the 42. Looking for Poklaski. Off his fingertips, out of bounds, and the Bombers will have to punt. The 35-yard lines appear to be about the worst on the field right at the present time. That's where seams in the tarpaulin, which covered this field for a couple of weeks, were located. And that snow at the 35-yard lines is packed hard and is very slick as you look at David Boone being attended to, shaken up on that last play.
Dale, it's going to be a very, very difficult special team situation. And, of course, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers did such an excellent job in that phase of the game in the semifinals against the Calgary Stampeders. Could be a very important phase today.
Bob Cameron punting. Gary Hayes, number 28, moves up to the 33-yard line to take it. Penalty flag is thrown. Hayes goes down. Tony Norman, number 55, was downfield along with Ken Shanconi, number 76, who was second to Nate Johnson in special teams tackles. And there you see it. The Toronto Argonauts are in the Grey Cup with a 44-7 victory over the Ottawa Rough Riders. And what a week it's going to be in Toronto, Frank.
The first time in 11 years that the Argonauts will represent the East. They had a great year.
Sure did. Conrad Holloway just has been simply outstanding. And he was awfully sharp today. Here's a comparison of the two quarterbacks involved in this game.
You know, it's really amazing as you look at that statistic and the comparison of the two games during the regular season is that Brock did not throw the football that much against the Eskimos.
Very unusual. First down Eskimos from their own 49-yard line. Moon goes to the air immediately, looking for Brian Kelly. He has him in Winnipeg territory. Reggie Pearson, number 8, making the tackle. Kelly's at the Winnipeg 43-yard line and a gain of 18 yards on the opening play from scrimmage for the Eskimos.
Absolutely turned Charles Williams, number 20, the left cornerback, right around. Great pattern by Brian Kelly. Of course, one of the Eskimos that they missed very early this year. He and Jim Germany, everybody said that the return of those two people were the key factors in turning the season around for the Eskimos. We certainly have to agree with that.
Jim Germany has the ball running right up the middle near the 40-yard line. Gets pushed back by middle linebacker Aaron Brown. Be a gain of a couple, second down and long facing the Eskimos. Germany finished the season with 80 carries for 480 yards, only playing half the season. As you look at the Winnipeg defensive lineup, Aaron Brown in the middle with Leo Esmonds going to the outside. And a very solid secondary for the Blue Bombers led by safety Paul Bennett, who game in, game out comes up with big plays for the Bombers. 2nd and 8 facing the Eskimos. Zone looking for Waddell Smith. Almost got it inside the 5-yard line, but Bennett was over there to help break the play up. 3rd down for Edmonton.
We talked about where the pressure would have to come from, and Pete Caton, number 53, the left defensive end, tried to put the pressure on Warren Moon. However, the ball was delivered right to Waddell Smith. Should have been 6. Here's Caton. Take a look at him. He's number 53. Leading pass rusher for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers throughout 1982. And now Dave Cutler from 48 yards out will try to open the score for the Edmonton Eskimos.
There's Cutler's kick. It is good. 48-yard field goal puts the Eskimos on top. And we'll be back in just a moment.
At last, what you've never seen, never heard, never...
Where you get your money's worth and more.
We're back at Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton. The Eskimos lead it 3-0 on Dave Cutler's 36th field goal in playoff competition. And the Bombers have the ball for the second time in this first quarter. 1st and 10 from their own 35-yard line. And Dale Isaac with Frank Rickey and Al McCann. Chilly day in Edmonton, and Murphy takes the pass from Dieter Brock and is pushed out of bounds immediately by Joe Holloman, number 29, who had 9 interceptions on the year. A gain of 5 yards, 2nd down and 5. Edmonton defensively. Tom Tuanay, the rookie. Linebackers led by, of course, Dan Kepley. He, too, played much better in the second half of the season. That was a big part of the turnaround for the Eskimos. 2nd down and a little less than 5 yards to go for Winnipeg. Brock looking for William Miller. He's got him, but right at the line of scrimmage, he goes down. May have lost about a half a yard on the play, so the Bombers are forced to punt once more.
Winnipeg Blue Bombers look like they want to attack Joe Holloman, number 29, the left corner of the Edmonton Eskimos. That's a bit of a surprise to us. Holloman, of course, led the Canadian Football League with interceptions, as Dale just mentioned, 9 of them, 1982.
See where the footing is rather treacherous on that part of the field. In the area of the 35-yard lines. Exceptionally bad. Nice high punt by Bob Cameron. Frietta lets it bounce, kicks left. Penalty flag goes down, an Eskimo on top of it, and a Bomber right on top of him, so Winnipeg will be charged with no yards. It's a 35-yard punt by Bob Cameron. Frietta letting it bounce, and the Bombers getting caught well within the 5 yards. You'll hear the call from referee Bud Ulrich.
2 yards, Winnipeg number 76, 1st down.
Ken Shantoni, excellent member of the special teams for the Bombers, especially downfield tackles. And so the Eskimos, who got the ball at their own 50 on their first possession and got a field goal out of it, now have it at their own 54, 1st and 10. Warren Moon's record in playoff action only. That does not include Grey Cup games. 3-0. Edmonton leads it. 10 minutes remaining in the opening quarter. Sean Kehoe, the ball carrier, in place of Neil Lumsden, number 31, with the football, has a gain of about 3 yards.
Doug McIver doing an excellent job in there at his defensive right tackle spot, number 64, making the stop. Gain is limited to about 3 yards.
Talking to Doug McIver yesterday at the hotel, number 64, and he was very excited, uptight about this ball game. This is only his 3rd playoff game. He had one when he was in the East with Toronto. And, of course, last week against Calgary was just his second, so not exactly a veteran when it comes to playoff competition, even though he has been in the league for 6 years. Moon going for Brian Fryer. He got caught up in a bit of a traffic jam down there between him and Brian Kelly and the two defensive backs, and unable to get to that football, so the Eskimos will have to punt it away.
Still, I think there had to be some confusion offensively for the Eskimos. Two receivers in exactly the same location. Ball overthrown, and we'll see the Eskimos. Hank Ilisic kick it away now. 9:29 remaining in the first quarter. The Eskimos lead by 3.
Nate Johnson and Paul Bennett, the all-time punt return leader in the CFL, awaiting this kick from Hank Ilisic. Bennett takes it at about the 8-yard line. Flips right up the middle. Still on his feet. Paul Bennett with an excellent return. Emilio Frietta gets the angle on him and pushes him out of bounds at the 41-yard line. An excellent return by Paul Bennett, and the Bombers will have some field position to work with. When we come back, they trail the Eskimos by 3. We'll return in just a moment.
And number 1 is taking charge of high-technology transportation with aerodynamic 5-passenger Chevy Celebrity, taking over precision driving and excitement with the new high-compression 2-liter Chevy Cavalier, and taking over the streets with the electrifying Chevrolet Camaro. Chevrolet is taking it to the limit. Number 1 is taking charge.
Another tremendous job of punt returning by Paul Bennett. This one's 33 yards long.
Pretty good example of why he led the Canadian Football League in punt returns, not just in 1982, but on a career basis as well. He brings the ball back out over the 40-yard line for Winnipeg.
First down, Bombers. They haven't been able to move the football at all on their first 2 possessions. William Miller takes the pitch from Brock, slipped away from Potter, but kept Lee and Highbar there to nail him, and the gain is less than 1 yard. Defensively, the Eskimos exceptionally tough here in the opening quarter. It'll be 2nd down and 9 for Winnipeg. Once again, our congratulations to Bob Obilovich, his coaching staff, and the entire Toronto Argonaut team for their victory this afternoon. Playing in the Grey Cup in their home ballpark next Sunday. Of course, Grey Cup 82 is kicked off in grand style on CTV with live coverage of the parade starting at 1 Eastern time next Saturday. As you see Dieter Brock go down in the arms of Tom Tuanay, number 60. Another punt coming up for Winnipeg.
Just an excellent job by the Edmonton Eskimo defensive back. Dieter Brock slips, as you see, on that very crusty field out there, but there was nobody to throw that football to.
Every time the Bombers have had the ball, they've had to work in that area, the 35, 40-yard line, where the footing is exceptionally bad. Bob Cameron in to punt for the 3rd time already. A beautiful kick, nice and high. Gary Hayes waits for it at the 30 or the 28-yard line. Hayes brings it out across the 35 to about the 36. And again, Ken Cianconi is downfield quickly to make the tackle and hold the return to 9 yards. The Eskimos going offense once more. 7:44 remaining in the opening quarter. Eskimos lead at 3-0. Yes, Al?
I was just going to say, alluding to Frank's comment about the slippery field, the coaches we talked to prior to the game, Eskimo coaches were quite disappointed. They took the tarp off around 10 o'clock this morning, but there was so much condensation that snow fell on the field, and they had hoped, the coaches that is, for a perfect field, but they certainly didn't get that.
First down, Edmonton. Ball at their own 36. Warren Moon looking, finally finds Brian Fryer open across the 40 to about the 43-yard line. Gain of 6 or 7 yards. Wiley Turner and Aaron Brown there to make the stop on Fryer. 2nd down coming up.
Excellent job by the Eskimos of keeping Tony Norman out of there, number 55, big right defensive end of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Fryer made a pretty good catch considering the conditions, turning around and picking up that 7-yard gain.
Temperature at game time, -18 Celsius. Very little wind, thankfully. Moon goes to Waddell Smith. First down, Eskimos, 52-yard line. Little look in to the wide receiver and a gain of 9 yards.
Tommy Scott going down and breaking out to the outside along with Jim Germany. Waddell Smith just coming down underneath them. An excellent throw by Moon. He looked like it was the middle of July. Somehow has to keep those hands warm.
6-year veteran out of Kansas, picking up the first down for the Eskimos. Moon with all kinds of time, got away from the initial rush and unloaded way over the head of Waddell Smith. He did a good job just being able to throw that football.
That was big defensive right end Tony Norman, number 55, putting the initial pressure on Moon.
Both clubs finished the regular season with 11 wins and 5 losses. As you look at that last play again, big rush from Tony Norman that Moon just got away from. As you see, he lost all control on the football as he threw it, 2nd down and 10. The Eskimos closed out the regular season with 8 straight victories and edge out the Bombers for first place. Second and 10, big rush from Caton. Ball is loose. Looks like Hetpache is on top of it. They rule the play dead back at the 40-yard line. Tremendous rush from the man we talked about at the top of the show, Pete Caton, number 53.
I'll tell you, Caton beats Big Bill Stevenson, number 62, and he just beats him with strict speed. Going around to the outside, taking the long way around, as they say, but with that great effort, sacks Warren Moon. That ball looked like it was stripped prior to Moon hitting the turf. However, it was called a dead ball, so it'll be 3rd down, the Eskimos to kick it away. There's another look at Caton, number 53. Leo Ezrin, 72, the outside linebacker, also coming on the play.
Ilesic to punt with 5.5 minutes to go in the opening quarter. Not a very good kick this time by Ilesic, off the side of his foot. Nate Johnson finally picks it up. Penalty flag is thrown. A couple of them now go down. Johnson is stopped near the 45-yard line and looked like the Eskimos were inside the 5 yards. A 33-yard punt and return is 7. 3-0. Eskimos leading the Bombers. We'll be back in just a moment.
Dear Mr.
But the real genius of this Betamax is its price.
The genius of Betamax, only from Sony.
Grey Cup 1982 in Toronto, and the Argonauts clinched a berth there earlier today with their big victory over Ottawa. Frank, so we're in for an exciting time in Toronto.
Hopetown will be wild.
And of course, all the action will be on CTV, and of course, the replay of that surprisingly exciting Grey Cup of 1981 will be replayed next weekend as part of CTV's Grey Cup festivities. Check your local listings for that replay of last year's Grey Cup, which of course came right down to a final field goal by Dave Cutler before the Eskimos won it. And right now, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers have the ball first down at their own 30-yard line following a holding penalty against Winnipeg on that punt return. So it cost the Bombers some field position. 5:15 remaining in the opening quarter. Eskimos in front on a Cutler field goal. Sprint draw to William Miller, picks his way through that line. Out to the 40-yard line. He'll be very close to a first down. The biggest gain in the afternoon for the Blue Bombers.
Winnipeg yet to pick up a first down in this ball game with 3 possessions. William Miller comes very close to picking up that initial first down, and we'll have to measure, as you see Ray Yock talking to Dieter Brock out on the sideline, trying to give him a little help. Brings his veteran quarterback over to the sideline to discuss the situation with him. It will be just short of a first down for Winnipeg.
Ray Yock, Hugh Campbell, head coaches when they were with Edmonton, when Ray was in Edmonton. Together, they've taken the Eskimos to the playoffs 12 of the last 13 years, into first place in the West 9 of the last 10 years, into the Grey Cup 8 of the last 9 years. And we combine the two of them together as coaches of the Eskimos. Second and short yardage. William Miller has the football up tackle. He pops it through for a gain of 7 yards, right across the 45-yard line. First down, Winnipeg. Boy, that'll certainly help Winnipeg if they can spring William Miller now and then this afternoon. Leading rusher in the Western Division.
See a good surge by the offensive line of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Miller easily picking up the first down for Winnipeg today.
1st and 10 from the 47-yard line. The Bombers with the football. Brock can't find anybody open. Now he just dumps it off, looking for the newcomer James Murphy on the far side, working against Larry Highbaugh. And the pass was not well thrown. Dieter was off balance when he got rid of it. He's not going to get a lot of time to stand back there and look for a secondary receiver.
Dieter once again trying to look to the Winnipeg right side, going against Joe Holloman, the left cornerback of the Eskimos. Holloman did an excellent job defensively. Dieter had to throw it away.
2nd and 10. Looking for Murphy. Going too far. Penalty flag now goes down in the offensive backfield. James Parker helps Dieter Brock back to his feet. It may have been a late hit. That's what it is, roughing call against the Eskimos.
James Parker, as you can see, the guilty party for the Eskimos, and Winnipeg Blue Bombers keep their drive alive with that penalty.
Major foul. Edmonton number 40, roughing the passer. 1st down.
Rick House, the Canadian Player of the Year in the Western Division of the CFL. A little bit upset with Gary Hayes. Not a big factor as the Winnipeg Blue Bombers move into the Eskimo half of the field for the first time this afternoon.
3:45 remaining in the opening quarter. Bombers 1st down. Dieter slips just a little bit. Finds Murphy wide open. Murphy is inside the 15-yard line. James Murphy, who caught 4 last week against Calgary, comes up with a 30-yard gain.
I'll tell you what, Dieter got a lot of time to throw this football, and it didn't look like the weather was bothering him at all. The ball was slightly underthrown, but Murphy made a good adjustment, turning to the back, picks up the 1st down inside the 15-yard line of the Eskimos.
Murphy out of Utah State. 3 first downs now for the Bombers. 1 rushing, 1 passing, and 1 by penalty. Threatening now from the Eskimo 14-yard line. Wide open is Rick House. Touchdown, Winnipeg. Rick House was all by himself. 18-yard score. The Bombers go in front.
Dale, there just had to be some confusion in that defensive backfield of the Eskimos. Absolutely nobody near House. Look at Mike McLeod came over there far too late to stop the Canadian Player of the Year. Western Division, Rick House, from scoring the first major of this ball game.
That's the 2nd touchdown in playoff activity for House. You see the conversion by Trevor Kennard. And now the Bombers lead the Eskimos 7-3 with 2:58 remaining in the 1st quarter. Rick House scored 8 touchdowns during the regular season. And of course, as Frank mentioned, he's the Western Division nominee as the outstanding Canadian player in the Shenley voting, up against Rocky DiPietro of Hamilton in that category. Graduate of Simon Fraser, here it is again.
Bit of a pick play, actually, on the Edmonton defensive backs, but House wide open, scoring the first major of this ball game.
80-yard drive by the Bombers for the major score. They lead it now, and Kennard will kick off. And that was the first time in this opening quarter that the Bombers were able to move the ball at all.
Helped a great deal by a late hit by James Parker on Dieter Brock to keep the drive alive.
Short kickoff. Kehoe slipped and went down. The ball is picked up by Gary Hayes, number 28, forced out of bounds at about the 23-yard line. Konahowski was over there along with Scott Flagel, number 14. Rookie defensive back for the Bombers. 43-yard kickoff and a return of 11. So the Eskimos will start in the shadows with their worst field position of the afternoon.
Ray Yock talked before the ball game about having the sun a little longer than the Edmonton Eskimos. They do have that on the Winnipeg side, but honestly, I don't think it's that much warmer.
I don't think it's a factor at all. Doesn't make any difference. First down, Edmonton from their 23. They now trail by 4. Play action fake to Germany, going for Pryor, who's in behind the coverage and has a big gain for the Eskimos. Pryor forced out of bounds at the Winnipeg 50-yard line. So the Eskimos come back with a big play of 38 yards. Moon to Brian Pryor.
I'll tell you, the way that both of these quarterbacks are throwing this football, you wouldn't think weather is a factor at all. It is 19 below Celsius. I don't even know what that means on the old bases. There's something like cold. Very cold, something cold. Less than 0.
Plays like that will keep this crowd warmed up. In the neighborhood of 50,000 here today. Eskimos go 1st and 10 from the Winnipeg 50. Moon fumbled the ball, and there to recover it for the Eskimos is Neil Lumsden. Tony Norman wrapped up Moon. The ball popped loose, but Lumsden got back to recover it at the Eskimo 50, a loss of 10.
Just a great effort by Norman, number 55, the right defensive end. Take a look at it once again. He wraps up Moon all the way back to the 50-yard line of the Eskimos. He was down at one point in time, just got up and made a great effort. Neil Lumsden was the blocker for the Eskimos that Norman beat.
Second down and 20. Edmonton now back at their own 50. Minute and a half to go in the opening quarter. Germany on the draw, and he is nailed by Leo Ezrin, number 72, the outside linebacker. A gain of about 2 or 3 yards, and Hank Olesic will be in to punt once more. Ezrin, who played most of the year as the middle linebacker for the Bombers, moved outside when they inserted Aaron Brown into the lineup. Done an excellent job for the Bombers this year. 4-year veteran out of Whitworth.
Well, a very heavily favored Edmonton Eskimos here this afternoon are getting out-hit so far in this ball game.
Bennett waits for the punt by Olesic at the 15-yard line. Penalty flag goes down. Bennett out across the 30. Stopped at about the 33-yard line, but a penalty marker was thrown on the return. A kick of 42 yards, a return of 18 as it now stands. Referee Bud Ulrich with the call.
Vernon Fall, number 54, blocking.
Illegal block, Winnipeg, number 54. First down.
Right you are. Well, that moves the ball back deep into Winnipeg territory.
How's that?
Take off on a very popular book title of these days. 10-yard line for the Bombers, 1st and 10 with 56 seconds to go in this first quarter. Almost the entire field now in shadows. Crowd urging the Edmonton defense on now. Bombers drove 80 yards to the major last time they had it. Here's William Miller out near a first down at the 19-yard line.
That's the second time that they've run that sprint draw with William Miller, the only back there, and it looks so obvious. However, it's been very successful on the 2 occasions the Bombers have run it.
Dan Huckluck with an excellent block on James Parker on that last play to spring Miller out of there for at least a 9 and maybe close to 10-yard gain. They're going to measure it.
Trying to run all the motion to the left side and run up inside of James Parker, number 40. Take a look at Parker.
Huckluck just sealed him off.
All that motion had Parker taking his momentum to the outside. They pick up about 9.5 yards. So Winnipeg very close to starting another drive. 2 times they've run the same play, and 2 times they've gained 9.5 yards.
Second down, short yardage for Winnipeg. Near their own 20. Brock Keats gets it across the 20-yard line. He has more than enough for a first down. We have time for one more play here in the opening quarter. the Bombers in front by 4. Rick House with the major for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Converted by Kenner. Cutler has the field goal for Edmonton. This will be the last play in this first quarter. Again, it's Frank Rod and William Miller. This time the Eskimos are there. Tom Town tracks down William Miller at about the line of scrimmage. So the first quarter comes to an end here in Edmonton with the Bombers leading the Eskimos 7-3 in a cold afternoon. And we'll return with the second quarter in just a moment.
Great games, it's a genuine computer. A computer that helps a student grow in computer knowledge at every level, right up to practical application in later life. The Commodore VIC-20, because young minds can't grow on video games alone.
You look forward to it all week long, and then you get knocked around so much you wonder why you do it. But right from the first time you played, you knew you'd found your game. And right from the first time you tried OV, we'll bet you'd found your beer.
That's why you just say OV for that great tasting beer. OV, OV, oh yeah, you just say OV.
Toronto Argonauts have already qualified for next Sunday's Grey Cup game, and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers right now lead the Edmonton Eskimos in this one 7-3 as we get set to start the second quarter. The Bombers second down and about 9.5 yards to go from their own 22, 23-yard line. Brock with good protection this time finds Nate Johnson open down the middle. First down at the 50-yard line. Johnson picks up 27 yards.
Pretty obvious to all 50,000 fans here that the Eskimos coming with a blitz. Dan Kepley, number 42, middle linebacker. Winnipeg does an excellent job of picking it up and giving Peter time to throw that football. Johnson moves it all the way out to the 50-yard line for Winnipeg. They lead this ball game 7-3. We're just into the second quarter.
Bombers established something last time they had the ball. They drove 80 yards for the major score. Now they've moved it out to the 50 from their own 10-yard line. Penalty marker goes down. Brock is down. David Boone with the sack. Brock pumped once and didn't get a chance to unload after that. Offside, the indication against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers on the first play, so Eskimos will take the sack. It'll be second down and about 16 yards to go.
David Boone, number 64, making the initial contact, but see who's also in there. James Parker, once again, number 40.
Offside, declined, second down.
Ball back on the Winnipeg 45-yard line as you look at the first quarter statistics. Winnipeg with the edge there basically on that one big drive. Drop play to William Miller. Dave Fennell trips him up. Number 65 gets the tackle on William Miller, holds the gain to about 3.5 yards. So it's third down, and that'll bring in Bob Cameron to punt again. Early in the second quarter, Bombers in front 7-3. And if you're not in Toronto for the Grey Cup game, then you won't want to miss Toronto Grey Cup 82 right here on CTV next Sunday morning, starting at 11:30 Eastern Time. And we'll have the most extensive coverage of the Grey Cup festivities. Look forward to the week in Toronto. Here's Cameron's punt. Gary Hayes. Nate Johnson, a couple of speedsters meet at about the 32-yard line. And the Eskimos will take over first and 10. 14-yard return by Gary Hayes, the leading punt returner in the season for the Eskimos.
You know, Dale, it's amazing how well the players are actually functioning because the cold is seeping into them. I noticed the Eskimo players huddling around their heaters, but those electric heaters aren't giving all that much heat. It's very, very cold.
First down, Edmonton from their own 32. Jim Germany right into the middle of that line. Has a gain of close to 3 yards out to the 35. Bomber defense stacks it up in a hurry. Doug McIver and John Helton both in on the tackle.
That's a good example of a trap block. Heck Portier, number 63, pulling to his right, trying to trap the left defensive end, Pete Caton, on the play. Gain is limited to about 3 yards for the Eskimos. A very important return. Jim Germany, Brian Kelly, about halfway through the year for the Eskimos, turned everything around for them. 8 in a row to finish 1982.
Second down and 7. Tom Scott with his first catch of the afternoon. And it's a first down for Edmonton out at the 49-yard line. Aaron Brown making the tackle, number 52.
Dale, you were telling me you had a conversation with Tommy Scott yesterday. He does something very special to motivate himself for football games.
Well, he has a home video recorder and a playback unit, which, of course, he can watch motivational type movies the night before a game, and he chose Chariots of Fire for this one. First down, Eskimos. Lone looking for Pryor, who's open deep, and he got onto that catcher's part of the field and went down at about the 31-yard line. Footing near the 35-yard line is extremely bad out here today, and it's very noticeable on that play. After Pryor makes the catch, it's a gain of 31, could have been more.
Just absolutely outran the linebacker Leo Ezrins, number 72, on the play. The Eskimos threatening for the first time since very early in the first quarter of this ball game.
Brian Pryor's had a couple of big gainers here this afternoon for the Eskimos, giving them a first down at the Winnipeg 31. Offense is really opening up now. Tom Scott. I'll make that Brian Pryor.
The Eskimos, I think, Dale, are going to be called for holding. It looked like Neil Lumsden, number 32, coming out of that backfield, was holding Tony Norman. It's Lumsden right there. Here's Tony Norman, number 55. Let's take a look at it. I think he just pulled him right down, and I believe that would be the call. It is. The Eskimos guilty of holding.
Penalty sets them back. The first down over again now from the 41-yard line. Penalty totals in 1982, the regular season. Quite a difference there in total yardage, over 300 yards. That's a lot of field position. First and 20 for the Eskimos. Big blitz up the middle. Lone had to unload, nobody there. Leo Ezra just came up through, untouched, right up the middle. Second down and 20.
Ezra's claiming that Warren Moon just threw the football away, which of course he did.
I think he got away with one that time.
Did a good job of getting rid of it.
Nearest Eskimo was an eligible receiver, an interior lineman.
I'll tell you, we look down into this crowd immediately below us here at Commonwealth Stadium, and there is a few people shivering. There's going to be a lot of coffee drunk out there.
I think so. Second down and long facing the Eskimos. Big rush from Eldon, and he gets to Warren Moon way back at the 53-yard line. So the Bombers do a superb job of pushing the Eskimos back, and that means the Eskimos will punt rather than go for a field goal.
What a great move by the 14-year veteran John Helton, number 99.
Watch him go right by Leo Blanchard.
Pete Caton also putting good pressure on there, working against Bill Stevenson, number 62, but it was John Helton who got to Warren Moon all the way back to the 52-yard line.
Pushing them out of field goal range, so Olesic will punt. Waiting for it is Johnson at the 8-yard line. Johnson finds the sideline. Needs a couple of blocks. Johnson brings it out across the 45 to about the 47-yard line.
What a turnover this was. The Edmonton Eskimos had a first down at the Winnipeg 32-yard line. All of a sudden, a penalty, a sack, a great punt return, and Winnipeg has got the ball all the way out to their own 47-yard line.
Well, the score is 7-3 Winnipeg. We'll be back to Commonwealth Stadium in just a moment.
Tricks to land. Purchase a selected video recorder, camera, or color TV now and receive at no extra cost a Panasonic Stereo to Go or AccuSet clock radio. See your participating Panasonic dealer for complete details now.
First down, Winnipeg Blue Bombers near their own 47-yard line following an excellent punt return by Nate Johnson. Puck goes in motion. William Miller gets back. Not even to the line of scrimmage. Cut from behind by David Boone, number 64.
What a great job by Tommy Towns, number 20. Linebacker on the weak side here. Watch him as he stacks up the Winnipeg Blue Bombers right at the line of scrimmage. Another Eskimo was hurt early in the season. Tommy Towns, a pinched nerve that kept him out of 5 football games.
Second down and 11 for Winnipeg. Dan Huckluck on the receiving end of Dieter Brock's pass. Got to the sidelines and moved it into Eskimo territory to the 53. It'll be very close to a first down. Huckluck swinging out of that backfield and getting open in behind the 2 receivers who had cleared the zone. And we're going to need a measurement on this one.
8:48 remaining in the first half. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers leading the Eskimos 7-3. Touchdown strike from Dieter Brock to Rick House, being the only major scored by either ball club so far today.
Brock has now completed 4 passes in a row. The measurement right in front of the Eskimo bench. It is first down. Yardage gain by Dan Huckluck. They're now into Edmonton territory. And the Bombers, who were unable to do anything in their first 3 possessions, last couple of times they've had the ball have been effective. They had an 80-yard drive for a major score late in the first quarter. That was by Rick House. Brock slipping a little bit again, finds James Murphy. Holloman giving him lots of room to work with, and Murphy has a first down. Joe Holloman laying well back off the receiver. And he just stopped up short after a pattern of about 7 yards, and Holloman gave him another 5.
Bill, I'm really amazed the way both of these quarterbacks are throwing the football. They can't possibly be able to have a normal grip on it as cold as it is out here, but they've ignored this weather conditions almost totally.
Well, a lot of quarterbacks would sooner throw it in cold weather than in wet weather. Ball is batted at the line of scrimmage by James Parker. The intended receiver was William Miller swinging out of the backfield. It'll be second down and 10. Parker getting his hands on that football.
Watch Parker, number 40. The ball actually thrown pretty short. I don't think the ball would have gotten to William Miller. Second and 10 for Winnipeg now. 7:50 remains in this first half.
Second down and 10 for Winnipeg. Brock with good protection down the middle finds Joe Poplawski. He'll be very close to a first down unless they spot it right there. He's going to be short now by a couple of yards. It looked like where he actually caught the football would have been right at the first down marker, but they spotted where he made contact with the turf.
Winnipeg not going to gamble. Trevor Kennard coming out. Field goal attempt will come from about 40 yards out.
Trevor Kennard had 27 field goals and 52 attempts during the regular season. And in playoff activity, he has kicked 8 field goals. He got 3 of them last week against Calgary. Dieter Brock doing the holding. 41-yard attempt. Kennard's kick is wide. Highbaugh gives up the single point. So the Bombers increase their lead by 1. It's now an 8-3 score. We'll be back in just a moment.
Bill, I don't think there's any question in Kennard's mind. He knows he missed it. These guys, he's beaten down there ready to cover that missed field goal. Every point very important, obviously, with the weather conditions here this afternoon, but Winnipeg just picks up a single. It's 8-3.
These two teams met here in the Western Final 2 years ago. The Eskimos winning that one 34-24. Tom Scott on the receiving end of that Warren Moon pass. Takes it out to the 47-yard line, a gain of 12 and a first down.
The defense by Vince Faison, number 9 on Tommy Scott. Just absolutely nothing you can do about this. Got curling to the inside. The ball delivered perfectly by Warren Moon.
Tommy Scott, as you look at his playoff record, not counting breakups, remember, has not scored a touchdown in one of these playoff games. Of course, breakup, different story. Scored 3 in one game a couple years ago. Moon looking for Fryer. He's got him at the Winnipeg 49-yard line. Another first down for the Eskimos. 14-yard gain. And Fryer is having himself a good afternoon.
Biggest offensive factor in this ball game for the Eskimos, Brian Fryer, number 77. But once again, it's a perfect throw by Warren Moon.
Fryer has now caught 4 for 89 yards today. The Eskimos' first and 10 situation at the Bomber 49. 5,000 yards passing this season for Warren Moon. That's never been done before in pro football. Jim Germany on the handoff, trying the left side of that line, has a couple. Second down and 8.
Good fill by the new linebacker of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, number 52, Aaron Brown, slipping inside the block. The Eskimos and putting Germany down after a 2-yard gain.
Aaron Brown out of Ohio State. He's 6'2", 235, and has good range in that middle linebacking spot. Second down, 8 yards to go, Edmonton. 5:20 remaining until halftime. Penalty marker. Moon slips at that center field stripe. Brian Kelly is in behind everybody. Touchdown, Edmonton.
Winnipeg is going to be called for offside. The touchdown will stand.
47-yard score for the Eskimos.
Leo Ezrin's number 72, the left linebacker, called offside. You see Warren Moon slipping on the play, but Brian Kelly's so wide open, he scores easily for the Eskimos.
Third playoff touchdown in Brian Kelly's career, and it is a beauty.
There's your offside shot of number 72, Leo Ezrin. Charles Williams, the defensive left corner, was the defender beaten by Kelly.
Dave Cutler converts the touchdown. The Eskimos are back in front. They lead 10-8 over the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and will return to chilly Commonwealth Stadium in just a moment.
Oldsmobile Cutlass Sierra.
Oldsmobile.
Have one built for you.
Here's the touchdown again. Warren Moon to Brian Kelly.
Is he ever open?
Oh. And Frank, what a great athletic play by Warren Moon to slip, regain his balance, and throw it on the money.
Absolutely right, Al. We've commented on it several times already today. Both of these quarterbacks are doing an excellent job considering the conditions.
The speedster Nate Johnson on the return from the 11-yard line. Dan Kearns brings him down at the 27. This crowd has really come alive here in Edmonton with the Eskimos back in front by 2. 19-yard return on that run back by Nate Johnson as he looked at the Eskimo scoring drive as they take it 75 yards for the major score. And Brian Kelly was the one who put it in the end zone on a beautiful pass from Warren Moon.
And Dale, I'd like to take this opportunity to remind all of the football fans across the country that in our halftime intermission, Johnny Esau will have Calgary great Lavelle Coleman as his special guest.
And we'll also have Jim Coleman on the show, best-known sportscaster, sports writer in the country.
Joe Poplawski getting open deep down the middle for a first down for the Bombers, a gain of 26 yards.
A lot of time left in this opening half. 4:37 as you see Poplawski ISO'd once again by Fred Fleming, making the reception and moving the ball out to the 53-yard line for Winnipeg.
Both the clubs very capable of moving that football in a big hurry. Bombers out at their own 53 now. Dieter with good protection, looking for Johnson, knocked away by Gary Hayes. He almost tipped it back to Johnson, but was a little bit behind him, and he couldn't squeeze it to second down and 10.
Hayes a little bit upset with himself. He thought he should have picked this football off. Good defensive job. Gary Hayes, number 28 of the Eskimos.
Hayes did a super job just getting to that football and knocking it down. Second and 10. 4 minutes remaining until halftime. Eskimos lead it 10-8. Poplawski is open, and the pass was overthrown. Brings up third down.
Boy, Joe Holloman, number 29, had Poplawski absolutely measured. Had he gotten the football, Holloman was right there to put the hit on him. The leading interceptor in the Canadian Football League, 1982, Joe Holloman.
Finished with 9 of them. Get 2 in the last regular season game. Here's Bob Cameron to punt. Moving up quickly, Frietta takes it on the run. Breaks one tackle and then is caught by Vernon Paul at the 36-yard line. The punt traveling to 33 yards and a return of 12. As Frietta chances it by taking that punt on the dead run in this weather. Good return. First down, Edmonton. Last time they had the ball, they drove 75 yards to the major score. Both teams have had one long drive each, resulting in majors. Moon has all kinds of time and decides to get out of there. Tony Norman catches him from behind, but he may have enough for a first down at the 46. And even 3 minutes remaining until halftime. May need a measurement on that run by Warren Moon. Very close to a first down. The score is Edmonton 10, Winnipeg 8. We'll be back in just a moment.
Take care of Carlsberg. Take care of Carlsberg, my friend. Yeah.
We're back at Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton. The Eskimos are second down, less than a yard to go. Jim Germany has it up for the first to the 50-yard line. 2:40 remaining until halftime. Eskimos in front by 2. They're hoping to go to the Grey Cup for the 6th year in a row. The Bombers hoping to make their first Grey Cup appearance since 1965.
I remember that one.
Argonauts have already clinched the playoff or Grey Cup berth with their 44-7 victory over the Ottawa Rough Riders earlier today. First down, Edmonton from their own 50. Big pressure on Moon. He gets it away in time, and open again is Brian Kelly in behind everybody. Brian Kelly, touchdown Edmonton. No, he went out of bounds at the 2-yard line. Out of bounds at the 2. 58-yard gain.
Just excellent pressure by Leo Esmond's number 72, and Warren Moon took a tremendous shot after he released that football, but once again, a perfect strike. Moon having an amazing day here. Kelly moving the football all the way down to the 2-yard line. Unreal.
2 big gains by Brian Kelly. One went for a major, 47 yards earlier. And this one is a gain of 58, takes it to the Winnipeg 2. First and goal for the Eskimos. Lumsden in Germany in the backfield. The give is to Lumsden. Touchdown.
Following the block of Hecporte, number 63, left offensive tackle, and Lumsden scores easily. All of a sudden, the Eskimos breaking this ball game open.
This time it's a 74-yard drive for the major score. Dave Cutler with Cliff Olander doing the holding will try to convert the touchdown by Neil Lumsden. Eskimos lead it 17-8 with 2:09 remaining until halftime. Eskimos riding an 8-game winning streak coming into this contest.
Still, of all the great games he's had in his career with the Edmonton Eskimos, Warren Moon may be having his best day ever.
He certainly had some good ones. Head coach Hugh Campbell with the hood on, talking with assistant coach Cal Murphy. The last time they have a chance to do any chatting like that on the sidelines at Commonwealth Stadium. Not just Eskimo or Bomber fans here today. So Dave Cutler, as he kick it off from his own 45. Oh, driving kick bounces once to James Murphy, number 21. Murphy brings it out to the 41-yard line. Cutler got down there to get a piece of the kick returner. So now the Bombers have to go to work. Being in front near halftime has not always been something the Eskimos have enjoyed in this Western final. Traditionally, they have started rather slowly in this ball game over the past 4 or 5 years. Rock looking for Murphy. Got him, and Joe Holloman wraps Murphy up immediately at the 47-yard line. It's a gain of about 5 or 6 yards.
The Blue Bombers have just under 2 minutes now to operate in this second quarter. They desperately need to put some points on the board. The momentum obviously having shifted for the Eskimos. That's a unique way to talk about CTV.
Second down and 4 for the Bombers. That'll be one of the liveliest crowds ever at Commonwealth Stadium, even though it is not sold out. Brock getting away from the pressure, drills it down the middle to Rick House. First down for Winnipeg at the Eskimo 41-yard line.
Cloud and Gary Hayes, the two defensive backs, 18 and 28, had quite a collision as House moves the ball inside of the 50-yard line now for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. First down at the Eskimo 46.
17-yard gain. Hayes and McLeod in on the tackle. First and 10, Winnipeg. Poplowski, the intended receiver, broken up by Ed Jones, number 24. Jeter throwing that ball a little bit behind the intended receiver.
Couldn't have much better defense, and Ed Jones provided right here. Watch him, number 24. Second and 10 for Winnipeg now.
Did an excellent job of not interfering with the receiver on that play. 1:37 remaining until halftime. 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 1:37 remai Johnson over his head. Covered by Larry Highbaugh, who may have been injured on the play. Highbaugh bumping with Johnson downfield, but he's back on his feet. Now third down. And the punting unit comes in. Bob Cameron, averaging just over 43 yards a punt during the regular season. His longest was an 83-yarder. That's his stats today.
Must be like kicking a brick.
Beautiful punt by Cameron, puts it into the end zone. Gary Hayes, about 5 yards deep, will end up giving up a single point here. He's not going anywhere. 53-yard single by Bob Cameron. Cuts the Eskimo lead to 17-9 with a minute 20 to go in the second quarter. Eskimo defense getting a big hand a moment ago, and now the offense goes back to work. First and 10 from the 35. Eskimos went on top in the first quarter on a Cutler field goal, and the Bombers came back with an 80-yard drive, and Rick House got the touchdown. Go in front. Warren Moon has now completed 7 passes in a row. Make it 8 in a row as he connects with Tommy Scott for a first down out across the 45.
Boy, that has to be tremendously frustrating for a defensive back. Vince Faison all over Tom Scott, but nothing he can do about it. Once again, a perfect strike by Warren Moon.
Moon throwing the ball exceptionally well here this afternoon, despite the conditions. Just over a minute remaining in the second quarter. All kinds of time for Moon. Looking deep to Waddell Smith. He can't get to it. Double coverage down there with Charles Williams and Paul Bennett. Moon threw it past everybody.
Moon going for it all. Waddell Smith, number 71. Less than a minute now remaining in this first half. The Eskimos leading 17-9.
Kelly and Lumsden have touchdowns for the Eskimos this afternoon. And Kelly got his on a 47-yarder, then came back moments later with a 58-yard gain that set up Lumsden's touchdown. Moon having an excellent first half, already over 250 yards passing. Wide open is Neil Lumsden, and what a job he did of catching that football. He'll be short of the first down. It'll be a gain of about 7.
What a great catch. Neil obviously hurt himself as he dove for that football, but will be well short of a first down with 49 seconds remaining. The Eskimos will kick it away.
No cushion there at all on that field today. It is just like playing on concrete.
Well, Dale, they took the tarpaulin off at 10 o'clock. The field was frozen at 10:01.
How about Al McCann? Is he frozen yet?
Well, I'll tell you, she's one of the cold ones. It's a seeping type of cold. Luckily, as I said earlier, the wind is not a big factor, but the players are playing magnificent considering the conditions. That Lumsden catch, cold fingers, didn't seem to bother him.
48 seconds remaining until halftime. Third down and almost 4 yards to go for the Eskimos. As you take a look at the scoring by quarters of these two teams, and a big edge to the Eskimos, especially in the second half. Twice as many points as Winnipeg scored in the third quarter alone. Hank Olesic finally trots onto the field. Bennett and Johnson are back deep near the 10-yard line as we await this punt by Olesic.
Amazingly, we had people here at Commonwealth Stadium as much as an hour before this ball game sitting in the stands. doing virtually everything they can to try and survive the cold weather.
Angling it for the sidelines, and it goes out of bounds, 5 yards out of touch. And they'll spot it at about the 26-yard line. With 42 seconds to go until halftime, that's a 27-yard kick by Olesic. During the season, he was averaging 46.1. Of course, when you are trying to spot it, you give up a pretty healthy average usually. Well, Brock sends Murphy wide to the right side. Johnson split wide to the left. First down, Winnipeg from their own 26. William Miller. And just very little running room at all. A gain of possibly 1 yard. Tom Towns making the tackle for the Eskimos. And William Miller comes up limping.
A little bit surprising, Dale. I thought that Dieter Brock would put the ball in the air. They still have a little over half a minute left in this second quarter.
Eskimos leading at 17-9 as you look at that last play again. Rick House leading the blocking, but Tom Towns fought off the block to make the tackle. Second down and 9. Johnson. Still on his feet. Johnson has a first down out at the 44-yard line. Good job of running that football by Nate Johnson for a gain of 17.
I like the way Johnson paused just a moment to wait for his big right tackle, Frankie Smith, number 56, to get out there and try to provide him some help. I think Holloman was aware of Smith, too. 28 seconds remain now.
Jones and Kepley finally making the stop on Johnson. Brock goes back to the air. This pass intended for Rick House. It'll be second down and 10. 23 seconds remaining until halftime. Ball is at the Winnipeg 43-yard line. Second down and 10 for Winnipeg. It's been a back and forth type of first half. James Murphy on the receiving end, and he is wrapped up by Larry Highbaugh. Now it's going to depend where they spot the football. It's near the 54-yard line, which should be enough for a first down.
I think it will be a Winnipeg first down with 17 seconds remaining. You can see Murphy just going down and running a little curl in or hook pattern.
Highbaugh making the tackle. Highbaugh and Dave Cutler playing in their 10th consecutive Western Final. First and 10, Winnipeg from their own 54. Penalty marker goes down. Pass for Nate Johnson was there before he was ready for it.
Big Bobby Thompson, number 61, the left offensive tackle, lined up offside. Jeter a little upset about it, but look at Thompson. He's number 61. The 285-pounder is in front of the football.
Sure is. So lining up offside. Bobby Thompson. Here's the call by
offside Winnipeg, number 61. First down repeated.
So it's first and 15. The ball moved back to the 49-yard line with 10 seconds remaining in the half.
15.
Big Bobby Thompson, 6'8", 300 pounds.
Just gained 15 pounds.
Penalty marker goes down again. Joe Poplawski on the receiving end steps out of bounds with a gain of 16 yards, which would be enough for a first at the 45. Looks like this one may go against the Eskimos. Rough play against the Bombers is the indication.
Well, that should be it. Only 3 seconds now remaining on the clock. Fans are running for the warmth.
I don't know where they're going to run to.
I don't know either.
See Ray Yock on the far sidelines as they move the ball back deeper into Winnipeg territory.
Major foul, Winnipeg, number 56. First down review.
Frankie Smith called that time.
They don't have the rough play call right.
So So the Bombers losing yards here with penalties. They're now back at their own 34. First down over again. 25 yards to go.
Throw by Brock right on the money to Joe Pawlowski, however, wiped out on that holding call.
And this should be the final play of the first half. Brock looking for Johnson down the middle over his head, and Gary Hayes just made sure of knocking it down, and that's it. The two teams head to the locker rooms, and the Edmonton Eskimos leading the Winnipeg Blue Bombers 17-9 at halftime. This is the CFL on CTV. He'll tee it up at his own 45-yard line. I'm Dale Iser with Frank Rigney and Al McCann, and a frigid afternoon in Edmonton. As you've heard Jim Coleman mention at halftime, we're very thankful the wind is not blowing here today.
Can you imagine 2 years from now?
And a frigid afternoon in Edmonton. As you've heard Jim Coleman mention at halftime, we're very thankful the wind is not blowing here today.
Can you imagine 2 years from now, the Grey Cup, 1984, will be right here at Commonwealth Stadium. It'll be a little later in the year.
Of course, we're all going to be a little bit spoiled after the 1983 Grey Cup is played indoors in Vancouver in that beautiful new facility out there as Trevor Kennard kicks off the second half. Sean Kehoe fumbles it and is picked up by Gary Hayes. Hayes is hit hard near the 35-yard line by Tony Norman, number 55. 47-yard kick and a return of 17. The Eskimos have the football. They have the lead, 17-9 over Winnipeg.
47-yard kickoff, 15-9.
The Eskimos on an 8-game winning streak. Trying to go to the Grey Cup for the 6th consecutive year. They've won the last 4 in a row. Bombers hoping to come back here in the second half and move on to the Grey Cup for the first time in 17 years. First down, Edmonton from their own 34-yard line. Moon to Brian Fryer. Bobbles it, hangs onto it. First down, Edmonton. Forced out of bounds at the 48 by Reggie Pearson. That's a gain of 14 yards for Fryer. That's his 5th catch of the afternoon. He now has 103 yards.
Well, I just can't get over how well they're throwing the football in these conditions. Talk about it, but Warren Moon puts it right on the money again.
We're just underway in the third quarter. Brian Fryer's been the big man for the intermediate passes. Brian Kelly has been the big man for the deep ones for the Eskimos today. Jim Germany bounces off his own lineman and breaks it outside. And he manages to pick up a couple of yards. Tony Norman got in on the tackle for the Bombers.
Big John Helt, number 99, getting good penetration, as you'll see, on the right side of your screen, forcing Germany to the outside.
Vince Faison, who's never missed a game since he joined the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, also in on the tackle on Jim Germany. 2nd down and 8 from the 50. Slotbacks go in motion. Moon looks quickly to Brian Kelly, singed it over his head and right past the defensive back, Charles Williams. That brings up 3rd down, and Hank Olisic comes in.
Brian Fryer taking a pretty good shot from Vince Faison. Reggie Pearson, I should say, number 8, not number 9. Olisic now to kick it away. We're just into the second half of this ball game. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers trail the Eskimos by 8 points.
Eskimos managed 1 first down on this drive and now forced to kick it away. Johnson and Bennett are the deep men. Not too deep this time. Looking for the sidelines. He's got it. And they'll spot the ball out near the 30-yard line. So the Bombers will have it when we come back. The score is 17-9. Eskimos leading it. We'll return in just a moment.
Beer, Carlsberg Light. All right. Cold as ice. It's one real good beer. Crack a cold one now and see. Why, it's that light, refreshing taste for me. Carlsberg Light. All right. Raise a cheer for good beer.
Right now, it's the Western Final on CTV, and of course, next Sunday, it's Grey Cup 82 from Toronto, and all the activities next Sunday.
They're not going to stop them warm, I'll tell you that.
Right. Next Sunday's Grey Cup activities start at 11:30 Eastern Time. Brock intended that one for Nate Johnson. Penalty flag down right at the line of scrimmage. Johnson covered by Larry Highbaugh. Legal procedure. First indication against the Blue Bombers. Toronto Argonauts are in the Grey Cup with their victory today over Ottawa. They will meet the winner of this ball game, and right now it's the Eskimos out in front 17-9.
Procedure, Winnipeg number 63, declined, second down.
Chris Walby, number 63, the right offensive guard. 2nd and 10, Bombers near the 30. Murphy goes wide to the left. Johnson and House split off wide to the right side. Quickly to Rick House. He makes the catch, stumbles out of bounds with it. Penalty marker at the line of scrimmage. The Eskimos may have jumped offside.
Well, the gain is only about 3 yards as House made that reception. His momentum carrying him out of bounds. Penalty is against the Eskimos, so it'll be second down over for Winnipeg.
Outside, Edmonton number 24.
Ed Jones, defensive halfback, creeping up to the line of scrimmage there, rushing on the play.
That banging in the background, folks, is our teeth chattering here at Commonwealth Stadium. 19 below when this ball game started, and it is a lot colder than that now.
The temperature is dropping rapidly now with the sun sinking in the west, and only the upper deck on the far side still enjoying the effects of that sunshine to any extent, not very much of it. Nate Johnson still on his feet. Johnson breaks it out into Edmonton territory. And a first down for Winnipeg. Johnson just kept on running with that football. Finally, Gary Hayes stopped him, a gain of 23 yards.
Big Bobby Thompson, number 61, left tackle out there providing the initial block for Nate Johnson, and he almost broke this. Gary Hayes, number 28, finally making the stop.
Injured Winnipeg Blue Bomber on the play. Haven't picked up his number as of yet.
It may well be Nate Johnson who made that reception, moving the ball down into Edmonton Eskimo territory.
There it is again. Johnson is helped to his feet, limps to the sidelines.
A little bit amazing. There haven't been more injuries out here this afternoon. It is absolutely a frozen turf.
You played a number of playoff games yourself, Frank, in the West when it's bitterly cold. What effect does that have on a lineman?
You want to get out of there quick.
First down play. Rick House bounces off one tackler and is finally stopped by Dale Potter. House takes it to the 42-yard line, very close to another first down for Winnipeg.
Still, I really do think this is at least as cold as most of the final games that I've seen in Western Canada. The one exception, of course, is, as you mentioned, we do not have a wind problem here today, and if we did, it would be almost unbearable.
Measurement on the gain by Rick House. Johnson comes back into the ball game after missing one play. It's second down and about a yard to go for the Bombers.
I think when we have the opportunity, we should get a shot of our sideline buddy Al McCann down at field level. Love his outfit.
Actually, Frank, it was colder in Calgary in '75.
Oh, thanks. I'll keep that in mind.
Second and less than a yard to go for Winnipeg. Brock usually follows the center, and it does again. First down near the 40. 11:27 remaining in the third quarter. Bombers on the move. They trail by 8. Murphy and Johnson come back in. Another series of downs for the Bombers. Fans cover up against the cold here at Edmonton.
Great watching the ball players on the sideline. They have heaters at either end of the bench. There is nobody sitting in the middle of the bench at the Eskimo bench.
That pass intended for Joe Poplawski was double covered right down the middle by Kepley and Ed Jones. There's no way he was going to get to that football. It brings second down and 10 yards to go.
Good call by Winnipeg. Mike McLeod, the safety, number 18, coming on a blitz, but the Eskimos did a good job of pass defense. It'll be second and 10 now for Winnipeg Blue Bombers. 11 minutes remaining in the third quarter. 17-9, the Eskimos lead.
The ball over to the Eskimos. With that interception, the pass intended for Nate Johnson, and Highball read it perfectly and was waiting for the football.
Murray just stepping in front of Johnson at exactly the right moment and picks off a very easy interception for the Edmonton Eskimos.
The all-time interception leader in the CFL, Larry Highball. Turns the ball over to the Eskimos, first and 10 at their own 36-yard line. Pass thrown a bit low. The intended receiver. Germany out of the backfield.
One of the few times that Warren Moon hasn't been hitting his receivers right in the numbers. He felt he still could have made the reception, but it was not so. Second and 10 for the Eskimos.
See Moon trying to keep his hands warm. The biggest problem today, although he certainly isn't showing any effects of the cold weather, except possibly on that last pass. Intercepted by Aaron Brown. The Bombers have the football right back. Brown takes it inside the Eskimo 25-yard line. A return of 20 yards on that interception. And boy, do the Bombers need that one, and they need to capitalize on it now.
Good pressure by McIver, number 64. Pretty nice catch for a linebacker, wasn't it?
Gives the ball over to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers with the score 17-9 in favor of the Eskimos. We'll be back in just a moment.
I am pretty, aren't I?
Honey, you're a knockout. If you don't have a sun camera, there's something left out of your life.
The sun is still shining on the upper deck of the far side here at Commonwealth Stadium. But down on the playing field, temperature is dropping. And the Bombers have the football inside the Edmonton 25-yard line thanks to the interception by Aaron Brown. Brock slips getting away from the center, and he'll take a loss on the play. But at least he got the football back.
Dale, that's the same place that Warren Moon slipped, you'll recall.
Certain areas of that field very slick. A loss of close to 3 yards, second and about 12 and a half to go. Both quarterbacks have thrown well over 200 yards here this afternoon. That's an amazing stat considering the conditions. Down the middle for Rick House, a little too far. A great try by Rick House.
Boy, very, very close to 6 points for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Well, that brings Trevor Kennard into the ball game. Watch House go after this football.
I'll tell you, there's nobody in this league that gives any more try than Rick House, number 31. The ball's about a foot from being 6 points for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Frank, a lot of pressure on Kennard. He's kicking from a slippery spot.
It is good. 34-yard field goal by Trevor Kennard cuts the Eskimo lead to 17-12 with 8.5 minutes remaining in the third quarter. The Bombers would have loved the major, but they get the 3 points anyway thanks to the interception by Aaron Brown. So now the Eskimos will take over the football at their own 35. There's 5 points separating these two teams. Eskimos going in were favored by as much as 10 points. Now they've asked the Bombers to kick off. They have that option, of course. Brietta, Hayes, and Kehoe are the return men. (17-9) was the score at halftime. The Bombers with that field goal cut it to 17-12. Kennard will not tee it up on the 35-yard line. He tees it back closer to the 33, and now the official is telling him to put it back at near the 35, and he said, I don't want to put it there. There's no footing.
That's interesting. I've never seen that come up in a ball game before. He's trying to give the Eskimos a couple-yard advantage, and the officials are discussing it with him as to whether they'll allow it.
As we mentioned before, right at the 35-yard lines, both ends of the field, is where there was a seam in the tarpaulin. And of course, with the heavy snow earlier this week, that snow is hard packed and very icy, and so they've allowed Kennard to tee it up back at the 33.5-yard line, so the footing will be a little bit better. Bounces to David Boone, and the big lineman's just making sure he's got possession of that football. It's a smart play by David Boone. So now the Eskimos will work in that part of the field where the footing isn't that great, at their own 33. First and 10, Edmonton. Lumsden out to the 40-yard line for a gain of 7. Go to the big bruising back here in the second half. Let them try and run over people.
Running has not been a factor in this ball game by either of these football teams. Just under 8 minutes now remaining in the third quarter. The difference is 5 points for the Eskimos, leading the Winnipeg Blue Bombers 17-12.
Coming into the ball game, Lumsden had carried 18 times for 93 yards in playoff games. Second down, Moon slips a little bit, gets the pass away, he completes it for a first down. I believe it was Brian Fryer on the receiving end. Number 77 ends up with his 6th catch in the afternoon.
Once again, Moon slipping on that very crusty part of this field and making the adjustment once again. Completed, and another first down for the Eskimos.
From the 45, they go first and 10. Nobody there. Moon has to take it off himself, and he's got a gain of 5 yards. A little mix-up in the backfield. Nobody to hand it off to. Second down and 5 from the 50. Moon can run it as well as anybody. Whole day like this, they don't want to see Warren running with the football that often. Smith to the right side. Kelly split off wide to the left. Second and 5. All kinds of time for Moon, but nobody open. Looking for that first down marker at midfield. He may have it.
Tony Norman, the big right defensive end, number 55, did a great job. He saw Neil Lumsden, 32, coming out of that backfield and just grabbed him. Moon had nobody to throw the football to. He's looking to his left, trying to pick up Lumsden. Could not do so, so he did the next best thing.
And he got a first down, and that's what we had mentioned at the top of the show, Frank, about the defensive ends for the Bombers. They'll peel out of there and pick up those backs because both Caden and Norman have pretty good range for defensive linemen. And it's a good indication on that play. Norman was with Lumsden all the way. First down, Eskimo. Penalty marker goes down. Deep for Waddell Smith. dropped the football. It was there, but Waddell couldn't hold on to it.
A little disappointed in himself. What?
Penalty is going to be against the Eskimos anyway, but...
Well, the ball just could not be thrown any better than that.
Edmonton number 63, first down repeated.
Poitier, the left offensive tackle, guilty of holding infraction.
5.5 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Eskimos lead at 17-12. Ryan Pryor heads to the sidelines. And he is replaced in that offensive lineup by Marco Sincar, number 27. He lines up in the slot to the left side. Kelly is split wide to the left. Waddell Smith is the wide receiver to the right. First down and 20. Moon looks back across the grain, trying to hit Neil Lumsden. Pass thrown a little too far. He had a step on the man covering him, Aaron Brown, the middle linebacker. Second down and 20 from the 45-yard line. Haven't heard the official attendance announced today yet. In the neighborhood of 50,000 on hand at Commonwealth Stadium. Every kind of winter wear you can think of is on display here this afternoon. They need it. Moon, good protection. Now he's hit. This is he tried to throw the football. Pete Caton will get a sack back at the 38-yard line.
Well, he just absolutely ran right over Warren Moon. Watch him come to the right side of your screen now. Caton, number 53, that we talked about prior to the ball game. Second sack of this football game for Pete Caton.
Moon having to take just a little too much time. Nobody open downfield. That brings up third down. And 27 yards to go. Hank Olisic to punt. Paul Bennett waits for it. 28-yard line. Penalty marker goes down. Bennett is out of bounds at the 35. Unhappy about something.
Tony Norman, I believe, called for the infraction. We've got a timeout. We'll be back right after this.
Combined. And of course, we fly to Toronto. Try the competition. Pacific Western.
There's the last punt return by Paul Bennett. James Parker grabbing him up high and throwing him out of bounds. Bennett was a little upset with that. There's a penalty marker on the play. We still haven't had the official call.
I think Bennett was looking for a face mask penalty against Parker.
We'll march it off against the Eskimos from the 33-yard line. Here's the call, referee Bud Ulrich.
Your foul, unnecessary reference number 40, Edmonton. Down.
Well, Bennett got his way. Penalty goes against the Eskimos. You take another look at it. Parker called for unnecessary roughness. I don't know if it was a face mask call or not. The official did not signal that. But in any event, it is a first down for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers at their own 48-yard line.
Bombers trailing by 5 here in the third quarter with 4 minutes to go. Witkowski, intended receiver, just a little look into the slot back. Incomplete, second down and 10. Oh yeah? All right.
There's always got to be one, I guess. But now we got two.
Dieter hasn't completed a pass in his last 4 attempts. He needs one here, facing second and 10. Looking for Poplaski. He's got him. Should be a first down at the Edmonton 51-yard line.
Well, that ball seemed to take an awful long time to get out there to Poplaski, but got there before Gary Hayes did, so it's a Winnipeg first down.
And they spot it right at the Eskimo 50. Caught one last week for 49 yards. This pass was incomplete. On first down, will be 2nd and 10.
And you see the safety blitz on this play. Mike McLeod, number 18, coming in there, just goes right by Dieter Brock. Nobody picked the safety up of the Edmonton Eskimos, but Dieter very fortunate that ball was not picked up.
2nd and 10 from the Eskimo 50. 2:50 remaining in the third quarter. Eskimos lead it 17-12. Oh, Dieter Brock badly overthrown the intended receiver, James Murphy.
Murphy wide open.
And he was open. Dieter just didn't hit him with it.
I think you'll be able to see this from the end zone camera, how wide open Murphy, number 21, is on this play. Larry Highball, the closest defender, but he had him a good 5 yards, beaten deep.
So on third down, Bob Cameron is in to punt. Hayes and Frietta are the deep man. Mike McLeod, short punt returner. From the 9-yard line, this is Jerry Hayes, number 28. Thrown out of bounds near the 20-yard line. Kick traveled 40 yards and a return of 10. The Eskimos will start. Now they spotted at the 18.
7 yards return. Dale, prior to the game, I was talking to Warren Moon, and he was mentioning the hand problem of a quarterback using mitts and going to the hot air blowers, but the longer an offensive drive is sustained, the colder and more numb the fingers become. And I think that might have bothered Dieter Brock there.
Jim Germany is met at the 20-yard line and finally stopped. Back at the 18, 3 or 4 Bombers making the tackle on him. Be a gain of 1.5 to 2 yards for Germany on first down. Getting colder by the minute here in Edmonton.
Oh, don't tell me that. It's worse.
Second down, 8.5 yards to go, right at the 20. Jim Germany was wide open, and the ball just went right through his arms. Couldn't have thrown the ball any better.
The only thing surprising about that is it hasn't happened more often this afternoon.
2 occasions now where the receivers have dropped the ball, thrown perfectly to them. Waddell Smith earlier, and now Jim Germany.
Winnipeg should have excellent field position as we're winding down now. The last minute of the third quarter, 1:17 remaining.
You know, Frank, you made another cogent point earlier about injuries. Despite the numbing cold, there hasn't been any serious. Nate Johnson went out for 1 play with a bad leg, but came right back in next series.
And Johnson is back there with Paul Bennett, awaiting the kick by Hank Olesic. And it's a good kick. Backing Bennett up to his own 30-yard line. Bennett still on his feet. Bennett just keeps fighting and fighting for yardage, and he brings it back to the 45. That punt by Hank Olesic traveled 62 yards, and Bennett gets 15 on the return. And it is determination like that that has helped Paul Bennett become the all-time punt return leader in the CFL. 6-year veteran out of Wilfrid Laurier. And a big play man in that defensive secondary for the Bombers. Right now the offense goes to work. First down at their own 46. We're in the last 30 seconds of this third quarter. Edmonton leads it by 5. Brock with good protection, and again, James Murphy's the intended receiver, and Brock overthrew him. Stops the clock with 24 seconds to go in the third. 2nd and 10, Bombers from their own 46. Brock has only completed 1 out of his last 8 pass attempts. That's his running total so far in the ball game. Big pressure on Brock from Dave Fennell, and he has a sack at the 36, a loss of 10 yards. Dave Fennell leading the rush for the Edmonton Eskimos, and that'll bring up 3rd down as the gun sounds to end the 3rd quarter here at Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton. Congratulations to Dave Fennell as he heads to the bench. He did his job. It's a 17-12 ball game with the Eskimos leading it, and we'll be back with the last quarter in just a moment.
At Bumper to Bumper, the first thing a new customer usually asks is, have you got the parts for? Well, in a word, yes. Bumper to Bumper is a chain of over 200 stores across Canada who pride themselves in taking care of all your auto parts needs, whether fixing cars is your job or
moving. Your tax-deductible donation will support Canada's World Figure Skating Team and
CTV's wide world of sports. Action at its best. Saturday afternoons on CTV.
Well, here we are at Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton. It's the last game for Hugh Campbell as the coach here in this ballpark. And right now, his Eskimos lead it, and they're going to get the ball back. And a beautiful high kick from Bob Cameron. Frietta fumbles it. And he manages to get back on top of it at the 12-yard line. 53-yard punt that time by Bob Cameron. As we're just underway in the 4th quarter, the Eskimos lead it 17-12. Frietta having a bit of trouble with the footing there and couldn't get the handle on that ball in flight.
2 big receptions by Brian Kelly in the 2nd quarter of this ball game have been the difference so far. 1 for a touchdown, 1 down to the 2-yard line to set up Neil Lumsden's touchdown.
1st and 10 Edmonton. Inside their own 15. Good protection this time for Moon. Throwing for Tom Scott. Broken up by Vernon Paul, number 54. A superb defensive play by the outside linebacker from the University of Prince Edward Island.
An awful lot of time, though, Dale, as you mentioned, for Warren Moon to throw the football. That's just about how even this football game has been. The Eskimos with a slight advantage statistically and on the scoreboard. 17-12.
2nd and 10 for the Eskimos. Pete Dayton gets cut down twice, but Warren Moon still has to run with the ball. And he has a gain of maybe 5 yards. It'll bring up 3rd down, but Pete Dayton will try to contain Warren Moon, but boy, he really had the blockers coming after him in that last play. Twice he was knocked down. Peter Brock found the heater to keep those hands warm. The Bombers should end up with very good field position after this punt by Hank Olisic.
I don't believe that. I think it's colder.
That was the temperature at game time, and it sure feels a lot colder than that now. All right, Bennett moves up to near midfield. Finds the sideline. And finally forced out of bounds at the 41-yard line. The Bombers will have good field position when we come back. They're trailing by 5. We'll return in just a moment.
Let's face it.
And when it comes to the things you would like to share,
coming up next Saturday. For all you tennis fans, that'll be a great match. Borg against Connors on Wide World of Sports here on CTV. Anytime those two are going to hook up in a match, it's got to be a good one. First down play. James Murphy makes the catch, has a first down for the Bombers. Joe Holloman trying to bring him down, and he's finally forced out of bounds near the 20-yard line for a gain of about 19 yards.
Holloman gave the newcomer Murphy an awful lot of room on that play. Dieter hit him with a perfect strike, and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers have moved down to the 20-yard line. They trail by only 5.
Murphy again splits off wide to the right side. Rick House and Nate Johnson are wide to the left. Sprint draw to William Miller, a play that worked for them 2 or 3 times in the first half. This time the Eskimos hold the gain to about 4 yards. David Boone in on the tackle for the Eskimos along with Dave Fennell. Second down, about 6 yards to go. 14-year veteran John Helton. Second down for the Bombers. Brock taking a lot of time, dumps it off to Poplawski. Inside the 10, he's to the 2-yard line. Brock did a super job of getting rid of that football. Poplawski was there waiting for it. Poplawski is injured.
Joe went up in the air and exposed himself. I think he got the wind knocked out of him as he moved the ball down to the 2-yard line. Great job by Brock of finding Joe to dump it off to at the last moment. Good pressure by the Eskimos.
Brock was taking an awfully long time. Finally, Parker got to him, but there was Poplawski, and he dumped the ball off to him. And watch him go in the air here. Potter made the hit.
Potter. Good job of adjustment by Dieter, obviously looking to his right side. All of a sudden, he's under attack and dumps the ball off to Poplawski, who is still down on the field. Ball will be at just about the 2-yard line of the Edmonton Eskimos.
Poplawski, a native of Edmonton, back on his feet. Went to the University of Alberta. 5-year veteran in Winnipeg. He'll be replaced for at least one play. First and goal from the 2-yard line. If the Bombers can punch it in here, they'll take the lead. William Miller, is he in the end zone? Yes, he is. He's got the major score. The Bombers go in front with 12 minutes remaining in the 4th quarter.
Well, what a perfect way to end the playoffs in the Western Division of the Canadian Football League. If the Eskimos are to win their 5th consecutive title and go on to the Grey Cup, they're going to have to come from behind.
William Miller taking it into the end zone, and that puts the Bombers up by 1. Trevor Kennard will now try to make a 2-point lead for Winnipeg. And he does. Winnipeg now leading Edmonton 19-17 with 12:04 to go in the 4th quarter. The winner of this game goes to Toronto next Sunday to meet the Argos in Grey Cup 82. 41-yard drive. The Bombers got good field position after the punt, and they now lead it by 2, and we'll be back in just a moment.
And now the only Defender, and the only way you can play any of them is on a home video system made by Atari. Now, with the purchase of an Atari video computer system, which includes the classic combat cartridge, you will receive, in addition, as a bonus, the Atari Asteroids game cartridge free.
Trevor Kennard's kickoff will follow it from this low angle in the end zone. Sean Kehoe on the return. He brings it out across the 30 to the 35-yard line. Tony Norman, Ken Cianconi in on the tackle. Winnipeg leading at 19-17 with just under 12 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. The Eskimos first and 10 at their own 36.
That's just about the worst spot on the field, Dale, as far as footing is concerned.
It seems like both teams have been scrimmaging the ball near the 35 all day long. Moon gets out of there. Got a first down and more. Moon is out to the 54-yard line. A 20-yard gain for Warren Moon. His third carry of the day.
Neil, you talked about it 2 or 3 times earlier, but that's the dimension that the Winnipeg Blue Bombers do not have. Peter Brock, of course, does not run with the football very often. Moon is not reluctant at all to take off.
Waddell Smith wide to the right. Kelly split off to the left side. First and 10, Edmonton from their 54. Moon waiting to the last moment. Throws. It was intercepted, and Charles Williams gives the ball back to the Bombers, but there's a penalty down. Warren Moon got hit late.
I think maybe John Helton, number 99, is going to be called for rough play. There it is.
Oh, boy.
The biggest play of this ball game is wiped out.
Penalty against Winnipeg.
I believe it was Helton, number 99.
That's who it was. Warren waited right to the last second to get rid of it. Charles Williams did a great job of staying in bounds.
All unnecessary roughness, 99 Winnipeg.
But the penalty wipes out the interception.
What a tremendous break for the Eskimos. Reggie Pearson knocking that football up in the air. John Helton, one of the most critical penalties ever for the 14-year veteran. A first down for the Eskimos at the Winnipeg 40-yard line.
Twice as many penalties against the Bombers this afternoon. Fumble! Moon got it back. He'll lose a couple of yards on the play. Doug McIver was there to knock him down. They'll spot it back at the 43. Second down and about 11, 12 yards to go.
Very fortunate to be able to make the recovery, actually, as he came away from the offensive center without the football.
Very cold hands, frozen football, making it very difficult for these football players to handle it. Second and 12. Moon with all kinds of time, but he can't find anybody open yet. Now Lumsden got out of the backfield and has a first down for the Eskimos.
Well, he's just standing back there directing traffic. There wasn't a Winnipeg Blue Bomber within 10 yards of Warren Moon.
But he was the only Eskimo open. Everybody else was well covered downfield. They spot the ball at the Winnipeg 26.5-yard line. Clock is running. Time remaining in the fourth quarter. Eskimos trail by 2.
Not a Bomber within 10 yards of Lumsden.
Cutler warming up on the sideline. Lumsden again breaks through. Lumsden to the 10-yard line. 16-yard gain by Neil Lumsden.
Vernon Paul, the linebacker of the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, was pointing to a flag he thought was down on the field against the Edmonton Eskimos, but it's not to be so. It is a first down for Edmonton at the Winnipeg 10-yard line.
8 minutes, 40 seconds, as you see. Jim Germany. He's to the 2-yard line. Vernon Paul made the tackle, helped out by Aaron Brown.
That first down was just outside of the 10-yard line, so the Eskimos can pick up a first down without scoring. That gain was about 7.5 yards by Jim Germany.
Fire and Smith come out of the ball game. Extra blocking goes in in the form of Mark DeBries, number 79, a rookie inside receiver with the Eskimos.
It is 19-17, Winnipeg leading.
Second down for the Eskimos. Germany, touchdown. So the Eskimos go back in front. That is Germany's 4th playoff touchdown.
What a tremendous drive by the Edmonton Eskimos, but don't forget an interception wiped out by a roughing call on John Helton hitting Warren Moon late. That kept this drive alive.
Eskimos got the ball after the kickoff at their own 35-yard line and moved it in for the major score. Dave Cutler converts it. The Eskimos now lead the Winnipeg Blue Bombers 24-19, and we'll be back to Commonwealth Stadium right after this.
See you later, alligators. Go, Delco, AC, Delco. You're talking AC, Delco. You gotta go, Delco. You're talking AC, Delco. You gotta go, Delco.
Right now, we have a standing ovation for Hugh Campbell from the 50,000 here at Commonwealth Stadium as the Eskimos have just gone back in front and Cutler kicks off. Campbell, of course, in his final game at Commonwealth as the coach of the Eskimos. Nate Johnson on the return. Johnson still going into Eskimo territory. Johnson finally out of bounds at the 42-yard line.
There are no flags. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers have excellent field position.
A tremendous return by Nate Johnson. 59 yards.
I think a few of the Eskimos were helping in that standing ovation to their coach because nobody came close to Johnson until he moved all the way down to the 43-yard line of the Eskimos.
The Bombers went in front 19-17 on William Miller's touchdown. The Eskimos came right back on Germany's touchdown to lead 24-19. And following that return by Johnson, the Bombers are right back in scoring range at the 42-yard line of Edmonton. 1st and 10. 7:20 remaining in the 4th quarter. Brock gets out of there. Dale Potter brings Brock down at the 36-yard line. A gain of 7 yards for the Bomber quarterback.
Winnipeg Blue Bombers doing a good job on James Parkey. And watch Rick House, number 31, just at the corner at the bottom of your screen there. Steps back and stays in on pass protection to try and pick up the great linebacker of the Eskimos.
Second down for Winnipeg. Brock for Rick House, just a little too far at the 30-yard line. Safety blitz on Brock. He got leveled by Mike McLeod just as he unloaded the football. Brings up 3rd down. Trevor Kennard will try a field goal.
And Dale, the official attendance has been announced, 51,111. And although they're frozen, they're staying. Nobody leaving. This is one of the really outstanding Western finals.
It's everything I think we expected it to be between these two ball clubs. A 44-yard field goal attempt by Trevor Kennard to cut this Eskimo lead. Brock doing the holding. There's the kick. It is wide to the left. Larry Highboy in the end zone. Trevor Kennard very disappointed. He has not had a particularly good year. He got 3 field goals last week against Calgary. Picks up a single point there.
Very critical miss, though, because the Bombers trail by 4. footing very difficult for.
His left leg did not get planted properly, and that cost him the 3 points, and they have to settle for one with 6:03.
And of course, with that missed field goal, the Eskimos will scrimmage at the original point of line of scrimmage, and it's the 37-yard line. There's 5:57 now remaining.
Eskimos now want to use up time on the clock and control the ball. Brian Kelly is open. Gets away from Williams, has a first down at the 51-yard line. Aaron Brown making the tackle on him. It's a gain of 14 yards for Brian Kelly. Five and a half minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Eskimos leading it 24-20. Hoping to go to the Grey Cup for the 6th consecutive year. The Bombers, of course, haven't been there since 1965. They got to stop the Eskimos, get that ball back. The give is to Germany. Shakes a tackle. Penalty marker goes down. Germany forced out of bounds by Williams and Vernon Claw. Looks like this will go against the Eskimos. It's a flip against Edmonton.
Defensive captain John Heltner of the Bombers has accepted the penalty against the Eskimos.
What a costly penalty that was that John took a few moments ago that kept an Edmonton drive going. First down over again. Waddell Smith.
The 71 right there at the bottom of your screen definitely hit Winnipeg Blue Bomber in the back. Ball will be back to the Eskimo 36-yard line now. 5 minutes exactly remaining on the clock.
Western Division final coming down to the last 5 minutes now. 24-20, Eskimos lead it. First down, 25 yards to go. Going deep for Brian Kelly. Can't get to it.
Well, you can't accuse the Eskimos of sitting on his lead. They put the ball in the air every play.
Not the Eskimo style to sit on a lead at all. They play a wide open offensive game. 2nd and 25. This is a big play for the Bomber defense. They can hold them here and get that ball back. Looking for Kelly once more. He's got it. 40-yard line. Oh, they ruled he was out of bounds. I thought he caught the football, but I guess he must have been juggling it as he went out of bounds. Let's look at it again.
I think that's what the call is, Dale. He did not have full possession of the football before stepping out of bounds.
That is a long throw by Warren Moon.
As you can see, Kelly juggling it just a little bit as he went out. Hank Olesic now having to kick it away. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers will have just over 4 minutes.
Bennett and Johnson back deep. They have done an excellent job here today of returning kicks. Oh, Olesic slipped, end-over-end kick, and fumbled by Faison, but it looks like the Eskimos were inside the 5 yards.
Definitely be a no yards call. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers will have excellent field position.
Only a 23-yard kick by Olesic as he had trouble with the footing and went down as he made contact with the football.
No yards, Edmonton, number 20, first down.
Tom Towns.
Taking another look at Olesic, and you can see him slip on this turf, his left leg just going right out from underneath him, and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers have a first down at the Edmonton 44-yard line.
His left leg not finding any footing out there at all, similar to Trevor Kenner in that last field goal attempt.
How big that missed field goal looms right now. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers trailing by 4.
First down at the Eskimo 44-yard line with 3:40 to go in the fourth quarter. William Miller sneaking out of the backfield. Gets close to the first down at the 35-yard line. He'll be just short of the first. About a 9-yard gain, 9.5-yard gain for the Bomber running back. Helton, Milson, Jones come into the ball game. Extra blocking for Winnipeg.
3:26 remains.
They bring the chains out to get an exact spot on the football just inside the Edmonton 35-yard line. There's Nick Westaya out there with short sleeves again. Eskimos leading by 4. The winner goes to Toronto next week for the Grey Cup against the Argonauts. Ball's loose, Brock got it back though. On every short yardage play today, Brock has kept it himself, Frank, and that time he tried to hand off and they mishandled the handoff.
Not only that, Dale, but he reverse spun out of that quarterback spot instead of just having a regular handoff.
With the score 24-20 in favor of Edmonton. We'll be back in just a moment.
You're always welcome to relax in our comfortable lounge and have a coffee on us. North American or import car, come to Firestone for car care. You'll drive with confidence.
There's the fake field goal. Brock looking to throw. He completes it to Rickhouse. He's got a first down inside the 30-yard line.
I'll tell you, there's nobody in this ballpark was looking for that.
So the Bombers get another first down. Seven-yard gain. Rickhouse on the pass from Dieter Brock. The fake field goal. 2:50 remaining. 24-20. Eskimos leading. Blitz on Brock. Goes for Rickhouse. He can't get towards the 20-yard line. He's second down and 10.
Safety blitz again. Mike McLeod, number 18, and House slipped and fell trying to run that pattern.
Our clock never started on that play. Still 2:50 remaining.
I think Winnipeg will accept
that.
that.
Yeah, they like that. Second down and 10. The ball is at the Edmonton 29. 51,000 at Commonwealth Stadium. Swings it out to William Miller. He'll lose yards. Edmonton's defense comes up big. Miller is back at the 35-yard line for a loss of 6. It's third down.
Just a great read by David Boone, 64, the left defensive end.
See the disappointment with Ray York now. Kennard's back into the ball game, and they've already used their fake field goal. I don't think they'll try it again. 42-yard field goal attempt. 2.5 minutes to go. Kennard missed another one. Larry Highbaugh. Kennard got downfield and almost got on that football in the end zone.
That might be a touchdown.
The penalty flag went down, but don't worry about that because that was Kennard who got down there, and he almost came up with that football.
What a great job of hustling down there by Trevor Kennard. Watch him, he almost scored.
Highbaugh just saw him at the last second and got on the ball. Oh, it's a single point for the Bombers. They now trail by a field goal. 24-21. Overtime looms as a very distinct possibility here now. Boy. 2:23 remaining in the fourth quarter. Eskimos lead at 24-21. The veteran high ball almost waited too long. Oh. First down, Edmonton from the 35. Germany has a gain of a couple.
Boy, they almost mishandled that football, too.
The longer this game goes, the colder it gets, the more trouble they do have in handling the ball. Considering the conditions, they have been doing an excellent job of hanging on to that football here this afternoon. 2 turnovers today, both on interceptions. Second down and 8 for Edmonton. Brian Kelly coming inside makes the catch for a first down. 1:56 remaining.
This may be the biggest first down of this entire football game. See a little crossing pattern there by Brian Pryor and Kelly. 1:54 now remains.
Last 4 passes that Moon has attempted have all been to Brian Kelly. He's completed 2 of them. That one was an important first down. Ball now at the Eskimo 46. Neil Lumsden has 2 or 3 yards. 1:35 remaining. Second down and 7. Eskimos trying to control the ball and eat up the time remaining. 1.5 minutes to go. Now up to the Bomber defense to stop the Eskimos. Moon with good protection. Fire is open. Another first down for the Eskimos at the Winnipeg 43-yard line with 1:09 remaining.
That should do it, Bill.
I think so. 18-yard gain for Brian Pryor, and he's had an outstanding afternoon, making 7 catches for 126 yards.
Got behind Leo Ezra's number 72, the linebacker, and gives the Eskimos a very critical first down at the Winnipeg Blue Bombers 43-yard line. But that's the most important factor. 1:09 left.
Eskimos trying to cap off a brilliant comeback in 1982. Jim Germany to the 40, maybe to the 39, for a gain of 4 yards. Eskimos 3-5 record at the halfway point of the season. They turned it right around, won 8 in a row, clinched first place on the final day of the regular season.
And there's a lot of discussion about that clock.
That's we noticed it before when it didn't move on one play, and now they're discussing it again. All right, now the clock is running. 24-21 the score. Edmonton leading Winnipeg into the last minute of the fourth quarter. Moon asking for the crowd to quiet down some. Second down and 6 yards to go. Draw play to Germany. He is stopped right at the line of scrimmage. So now, third down. And 42 seconds remaining. Ray Yark calling for a timeout with 42 seconds to go. The Bombers have a timeout. This is the CFL on CTV. Third down, 6 yards to go for the Eskimos. The ball at the Winnipeg 39-yard line, 42 seconds remaining in the fourth quarter. Now the punt team comes in for Edmonton. With Lessick can get it into the end zone for a single point. That'll give the Eskimos a 4-point lead. Paul Bennett is the only man back deep. They will, well, now they send Wiley Turner back. There's a Lessick's punt. It will not get into the end zone. Just outside the goal line, penalty flag goes down. Bennett with the football, and he is smothered at about the 1-yard line. Actually, that's just as good anyway, depending on the flag here. Be a long way for the
It's Edmonton, number 20, first down.
Tom Towns. That's penalized.
Well, gives the Winnipeg Blue Bombers a little bit of breathing space, but there's only 31 seconds showing on the clock.
And the Bombers have a long way to go. Tom Towns trying to hold up on that downfield coverage, slipped, and he was within the 5 yards. So now the Bombers will have it first down at their own 17-yard line. You see the time remaining. 24-21 the score. Brock sends Murphy wide to the right side, Nate Johnson to the left. Murphy out across the 25 to about the 27-yard line. He'll be a yard short of the first down. 24 seconds left. Season coming down to the last few seconds here at Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton. Brock looking for Murphy. He's got him. First down, Winnipeg. He's out to the 49, 50-yard line.
15 seconds remaining. They only need to gain about 15 more yards, and they would have a shot at a tying field goal.
I think it ought to be fitting to give Trevor Kenner one more shot at it because he's had some tough luck here this afternoon. Injured ball player, Dan Huckluck, as you look at Kenner. He may be called upon here. The Bombers can get a few more yards.
I don't know if you can stay thawed out enough for overtime, Dale.
Brock just getting rid of that football in time, and Murphy worked himself into the open. Kepley and Holloman making the tackles. It was a big first down and a gain of 18 yards. Boy, next Sunday, the Argonauts are the home team for Grey Cup, 82. And CTV will be there to bring you all the action starting at 11:30 Eastern Time next Sunday. Clock is running now. Rock, everybody blitzing. Throws incomplete. 7 seconds left.
Bill, I don't know if they even have enough time to gain enough yardage to get in a field goal range now. The clock shows 7 seconds.
Mike McLeod again on the safety blitz. A proud new father, Mike McLeod's wife giving birth to a baby boy on Friday afternoon. Ray Yock's coaching career in the CFL, 7 seconds away from being over. The Bombers have to do it here. Brock looking for Johnson. Knocked away by McLeod at the 35-yard line. Time has run out. The Eskimos will go to the Grey Cup again to play the Argonauts. A tremendous comeback in 1982 by the Edmonton Eskimos. In last place halfway through the season at a 3-5 record. Won 8 in a row to finish the regular season at 11-5. And now have won the West again for the 6th consecutive year. 24-21 over the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and Hugh Campbell and the Eskimos will be going to Toronto. Number 1 in the West again.
Bill, I don't know if the Grey Cup can top this.
I don't know, boy. But it'll be a good one with the Argonauts in it. You See a dejected Dieter Brock heading to the locker room. (24-21). The Eskimos win it. CFL on CTV will continue in just a moment.
How can you keep walking?
You're here? Of course.
You can always count on Michelin. Michelin makes all the difference.
Zenith reaches a new dimension in beta video recorders. Exceptional Zenith picture quality. Front-loading convenience. Yet this Zenith VCR is less than 3.5 inches high. It's part of a new generation of beta VCRs from Zenith, including this lightweight portable and camera with automatic focus. You can play back by wireless remote control. See the new generation of beta VCRs from Zenith, where the quality goes in before the name goes on.
Let's take a look at the play of the game as Warren Moon goes to Brian Kelly for a second quarter touchdown that put the Eskimos in front, Frank.
Yeah, what a tremendous job Moon does here. He slips, as you can see, makes the adjustment, finds a wide open Brian Kelly, and that's our Panasonic play of the game.
47-yard touchdown. Warren Moon to Brian Kelly, and that put the Eskimos in front in the second quarter. A beautifully thrown football. And here's Al with Warren Moon.
Thank you. Naturally, it's pandemonium down here. I've got Warren Moon. Warren, what a great game you played. You ran with the football a lot. By the time that you slipped, got up, and threw that strike, that was the play of the game.
It was the most toughest football game I've ever been involved in my life. I'm physically beaten up, but we had enough to carry us over. Winnipeg played a heck of a ball game today, but we played well enough to win. And I'm just shaking up right now. I've never been involved in anything like this.
And Warren, your defense came up so big when you needed them.
They did come on when we needed to have them, and they've done that all year long. And it's just a team effort we've had all year, and I'm just thankful that we're as far as we've come.
Boy, I'll tell you, it's going to be hard to get this up again for Toronto next week, but it should be a great one.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game next week, and I hope we can get up again because we were really emotional for this one, and it took a lot out of us, but I think we'll be ready next week. I'd like to say hi to my wife and baby back home, and I'm all right.
And what a heck of a finish for Coach Campbell.
Yeah, it was great for him to go out a winner, especially at home, and I'm really happy for him. I just wish him the best of luck in the future, and I hope we can win next week for him.
Warren, you win the Panasonic Travel Vision television set play of the game, offensive star. Congratulations. Good luck in Toronto, Warren.
Thank you very much, Al.
Okay, we're back after these messages.
Hi, Anna.
Offensive and defensive game stars.
Still a very easy pick offensively. Warren Moon, obviously the offensive star of the game. Pete Caton, our selection as the defensive star.
The Edmonton Eskimos coming from behind in the fourth quarter to defeat the Winnipeg Blue Bombers and go on to the Grey Cup 82 in Toronto against the Argonauts. And we look forward to a tremendous showdown next Sunday, Frank.
If it's anywhere close to the ball game we had this afternoon, we'll all look forward to it with a great deal of anticipation.
And the first time in 11 years the Argos have been in the Grey Cup. And of course for the Eskimos, 6th year in a row, and they're looking for their 5th consecutive victory. And so on behalf of CTV and the sponsors who bring you this exclusive presentation, this is Dale Isaac bidding you a good night from Edmonton.